YouTube, petey twofinger here with a recommendation video. Mike Judge presents Tales from the Tour Bus. Mike Judge is the Beavis and Butthead creator. He voiced Beavis and Butthead. He also did a cartoon called King of the Hill and another one called Daria Goes to School. Mike Judge was 90s phenomenon Beavis and Butthead creator. So I think this show is Cinemax or Cinemax, although I think that it's on HBO too because they're sister stations, and I think that they aired it on HBO. I could be wrong about that. I found it. There's some snippets of it on YouTube, but I found it on gomovies.sc. I'm looking right at it here. www.gomovies.sc/TV/Mike Judge Presents Tales from the Tour Bus. And that is the entire first series, which is country. So it starts off with Johnny Paycheck, Jerry Lee Lewis, George Jones and Tammy Wynette, Billy Joe Shaver, what a great guy, Waylon Jennings, and someone by the name of, I won't spoil it, it'll be a surprise. And then is this season 1 or 2? Well, either way, yeah, that's season 1. Season 2 is the funk. So it's James Brown, Bootsy Collins, George Clinton, Parliament Funkadelic, Rick James, and Bootsy Collins. So I forget whether or not you care, if you don't listen, I hate country and I hate rap. You hear that a lot from rock and roller types. I'm from Chicago. My folks were Chicago. Their folks were from Sweden. We were lucky to not be living in poverty. So I don't get country music. It's way too sad. I can't handle it. It is so, the depth of emotion in country and blues, all that poverty and drinking and cheating, that stuff, I can't handle it. I didn't know that when I came up, and it's another level that I cannot handle. It's too much for me. I'm too emotionally sensitive to music to listen to that. So, out of the two, I lean towards the funk, because I love the Tammy Show. I've seen that more than once. Anything George Clinton or Bootsy Collins. I've got Praxis albums here, and before I watched this, I was aware that his brother was named Catfish, and they're from Cincinnati. We've been to Cincinnati for live music a bunch of times. I've got musician friends in Cincinnati, so I know about that scene. And I knew Rick James. I'm not into Rick James. Prince. I'm not into Prince. But George Clinton, big thumbs up. Anything Bootsy Collins and James Brown, you have to be out of your mind to say anything about James Brown except for he's the king. Now, again, out of the two, I would lean more towards the second season, but I enjoyed both. These are the stories that I live for. I'm going to really twist your arm to hunt this show down and consume all of it. And I'm excited about the next season. They're in the middle of, I forget where they're at. The second season is not finished, I guess. It's on now, I'm pretty sure. So if you have cable, definitely check that out. If you don't, you can find it online. These Go Movies is 1, 2, 3 movies, F movies, where there'll be a bunch of pop-ups. Every time you try to play the movie, some else thing will come up. It'll be some nasty video game, some dirty pop-up. You got to X out of those. And after you've clicked on it to play maybe 6 times and 6 pop-ups have come up, the 7th time it'll actually play. So they're clicky, these sites, and you want to find one that is light on the pop-ups. Yes Movies is one that's not that bad. But Yes Movies had it, but it wouldn't play. It was like it was slow. So I ended up watching it on GoMovies.sc. I watched the entire country season in one sitting last night. It's that good. Definitely, if you're like me and you like to hear these stories, it starts at the beginning of the career and ends basically when the person dies. And they'll have ex-wives, bandmates, telling all of the funny, you know, there was a minimal of like groupie adventures. It was usually the stuff that the people did where they were ended up in police custody or overdosing, drinking stories, the embarrassing stuff, all the funny stuff. And this is the stories that I live for, because we put these people up on pedestals like they're riding around in limos with drugs and women and they can't do any wrong. And then when you find out the truth, what really is going on, you see that they're just normal people that have these issues, but they're, you know, walking around with a bag of cocaine this big. The George Jones thing was so funny to me. I can't really spoil it, so I won't. You have to watch that. The thing about him when he started doing coke, what he was doing was, I'm going to have to look for more of that. Like, I don't know where I would find that. I know there's got to be a book where they talk about what he was doing, because it was just incredible. Because I had heard stories about him, how crazy he was. So yeah, check it out. Mike Judge, Tales from the Tour Bus. Double thumbs up. Now, I was talking about comment section stuff. I know I brought this up. Excuse me, I've got a itch in my back. I know I brought this up a few times on my channel, talking about people in the comment section being nasty. Anytime I do anything related to like a tutorial, like for pedals, I get all these angry people. And then when I did the Acid Casualty series, which I was really sick when I made those videos, and so every day I would wake up and there would be another person tearing me a new one. And it was usually some fact that like one of the person's ex-wives had said that didn't fit the arc of the story. It was a contradictory fact, and this person would have read that. It was like only like the most dedicated, devoted fan would know this. Like, you have to go to the darkest corner of the last page 26, like the last page they even mention this guy, the oldest interview, and they have this one nugget of information, and the people that knew that stuff would always come out swinging at me, and they would act like I didn't read that, which I did, but I didn't include it in the story because it didn't jive with it. And they would always get all hot under the collar and attack me personally because I didn't include this information. It was just like, it got really old to the point where I had to shut off the comments. The Peter Green was the worst. That was the worst. And then the Rocky Erickson one was bad. And then the Sid Barrett one was really bad. Really, really. David Gilmour said this. Yeah, David Gilmour charges $600 for a nosebleed ticket to see his Rattle That Lock tour. So, see how far that gets you, pal. You know, my life savings is still in my bank account, and I'm sorry you gave yours up for a nosebleed seat to see the girl with the yellow dress. But no, thank you. Anyway, those are the types of people that I'm addressing when I talk about this negativity. And recently, there's a guy, he calls himself Brad, the Guitarologist. His channel is the Guitarologist, like guitarologist, but Guitarologist. Anyway, Brad is a successful YouTuber. He does the same thing that I do, which is chatty. He's a goof, or he's a knucklehead. He jokes around. Less than I do. But recently, one of his jokes got him in trouble. An alphabet agency, if you know what I mean, showed up at his home. 2 SUVs came in and like parked on either side of his driveway, like blocking him in, and a sheriff. And they came up to his door, and he was like, "What the heck's going on?" And they had a frame grab off of one of his videos where he had made a joke. He said it wasn't even a funny joke. It was like, "You better not go outside, or it's a dangerous world, stay in your house. Sincerely," and then he signed it the name of a group of bad guys. I don't want to say the name of the alphabet agency, and I don't want to say the bad guys. If you think like about a year back who the bad guys were on the news that they were scaring us with, you should be able to remember the name of this group, organization. A lot of people believe that the alphabet agency created this organization, that they're not even really real. I don't want to get into all that. The fact is, Brad, the guitarist, made a joke. When he was editing the video, he reacted to something that he said in the video, and he threw up this image that if you blink, you would miss it. It's not even 3 seconds. It's like a second and a half of text, and it says something like, "Stay in your homes. The world is a dangerous place. Signed, sincerely," and then the name of this organization of bad guys. And the FBI came to his house, and he was like, "You guys, I'm sorry you came out here because you have like real stuff you should be doing right now. Like this is," and they said that someone had flagged, they had sent, they turned him in. Like, I'm complaining because people are attacking me by leaving negativity in my comment section. Recently, I had a video where I had done a Vero tips and tricks. It was like a half-hour chatty video, and I took so much heat over that video. It took me a whole day to make it. I remember I kept redoing it, trying to get it shorter, and I took so much heat for that video. I remade it. Years later, I remade it, and I put up a thing, "Don't watch the old video, watch this new one." And 2 days ago, I had a guy attack me on the new one. He said, "Unwatchable, the way you edited this." And the editing was only in the first 30 seconds. It's like a 34-minute long video. In the first 30 seconds, I do some shenanigans with the editing, and I did that on purpose. I always will have a long intro. This is going back. I would have a real long, 45-second long intro, and that was so people would attack me for the intro. And my thinking is that there's a certain type of person that I'm never going to be able to make that person happy, and they're going to attack me. They're going to leave a nasty comment, because that's what these people do. They never have a single upload, never. They just talk trash on everybody's video and attack people. Okay? And I would put up a long intro, so they would attack me for the intro and click off. They would say their piece and go to the next video. They wouldn't even watch my content. They would just attack me. And that way, that person would never get to me, because they would never even have the patience to watch and get a whiff of my personality and say something that would actually hurt me. Because I knew, okay, this video is way too long. The intro is way too long. And if you have any sense of humor at all, you would get that my intro is a joke. It's all failed rocket launches, stuff blowing up. It's all explosions with a bunch of over-exaggerated sound effects and circus music going off and wind-up clown laughter. It's ridiculous. And then at the end it says, "with petey," and there's a picture of an ostrich going, So it's like, to be attacked for that, you got to know the person you're dealing with is, bad egg. So that was my strategy with this intro, and I took so much heat over it. It's the same thing every day. I would wake up and there would be multiple comments about the intro. Any person who, oh my goodness, with the intro. So, like I said, Brad, the guitarist, he works with tube amps, and his house is crammed full of vintage gear. So he is successful. He has done what I was unable to do, which is attract an audience of thousands of views every time he puts out a video. And he's able to just sit there and talk and joke around, which is, I do that, and I'm lucky if I get 8 people to watch it. Which, that's fine. No sweat off my back. I accomplished my goal with my YouTube channel. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it's done. I've got my art up there, and then I'm able to talk and rant about stuff. But that was just like when I saw that video this morning that Brad, the guitarist, had a sheriff show up at his house, then I was just like, this is another level. This is like, there are people out there that are so far warped in their sense of entitlement that they would sick a government agency on another person because they didn't like a joke that they made. And that's all that I do. I mean, honestly, it isn't all that I do, but it's a big part of what I do, is having a sense of humor about things. And that's been kind of removed, you know? Like, you can't, everything is so politically correct, and you're making a video and you're so hyper aware of offending anyone that you completely take the fun out. It just sterilizes it. So, good job, comment section Nazis. You fucking ruined YouTube. Good job. Hats off to you. But all the guys that have zero content, all you do is fucking log in and then tear people to pieces. Good job.